And as mentioned, it is a very strange day today. Let us hope the best for our friends in the Ukraine, and let us hope for us all not to slip from one global crisis to another global crisis. And we are all ready for doing business again and to live our life as we like to do it. And we are actually hoping to do that as soon as possible again. But anyway, welcome to our first update in 2022. I know this number 2 is actually a very important digit for the Asian region and should bring us luck and prosperity and yeah. Thank you for taking your time to and being part of our ICMCI community. There are so many things to tell, so much to tell, so to address, so many different areas. We since October as a board, we have a new board with almost half of the board members are new board members. Meanwhile, we have established the new liaisons and we got from the transition mode to the working mode. So many things are being discussed and many things are going, are happening. And I also see that very much institutes are very active. It's a feeling I cannot prove it, but I feel that in the last years, these activities even have accelerated, and it's becoming more and more active in many regions of the world, and that's something that makes me very happy and proud to be part of ICMCI. But it makes it even more important to share our experience and seek for synergies, and that's one of the purposes of this meeting, of this presentation. As I mentioned, we have many different areas to address, and I would like to split my presentation in 2 sections. One is our daily business, the operation as I call it, and one is the strategy. That is what you see now. It's not a full picture of all our activities, but I would like to address those discussions and open issues we had in the last months and in the near future. And of course, these things are related to each other. So see that just like a sort of agenda of the things I would like to address. But of course, we have enough time for discussions. If you have any things to add to it and any other things we should discuss, feel free to put them on the table. First of all, let me start with the strategy part. You all know our strategy. You can read it in our email signature in one sentence: to be a leader in the development of management consulting as a global profession that drives social and economic success. And I still like this sentence. It's still valid. It's bringing it to the point. And even after a couple of years, I don't think there is a reason to change that. But of course, we do evaluate that once a year in the board face-to-face meeting. And many things that are in this sentence are getting even more relevant. But what we need to do is we need to adapt the tools, how to bring this strategy on the ground and how to live this strategy in our life. And that is what we do discuss usually in our odd strategy meeting. Now we need to do that strategy meeting the second time in a row I think the third time in a row, but not face-to-face, to do it virtually. And we all know from our professional experience that many of these discussions can be made online, but meeting in person is even more efficient than to have it online. So this year we decided only to discuss 2 very specific topics, not to discuss the full strategy, but to have a discussion about 2 very specific topics. And I would like to discuss that with you. One is a new initiative that is called the Future of Consulting. And I would like to explain a little bit of the background of it and what is it and how can you benefit as an IMC from that. And the other one is marketing. We have a marketing since a couple of years, and I think we are on a very good track, but we can achieve some sort of next level of marketing, and that's something we need to elaborate on in our meeting. What can we improve? And I would like to tell you my thoughts about that. Well, some of you, hopefully all, I don't know, but let me hope all of you have heard about the Future of Consulting initiative. The background from my perspective is that we offer as ICMCI lots of what I call very technical services, like events, like certifications, like assessments, and that is all about our profession, of course, but it is for the brain. It's not the content part, and what is the future of our profession? What do we as a profession think about the future? What do our clients think about the future? How can the clients benefit from different stakeholders? What are the stakeholders' expectations? And that is why we initiated this initiative, which is not only one initiative, it is sort of an umbrella of different activities in ICMCI. Some of these activities already exist. Some of these activities are set it up on new and in a new way. But in general, I have the feeling that almost all of our members, I think all of our members are actually are discussing with their members, what will the future of our profession look like? And that is something which is the same discussion all around the world. I had meetings, well, nearly every continent, and all of them had the discussion, how will our profession look like? We had this discussion before the pandemic situation with regards to the digitalization, of course, but the pandemic accelerated this discussion, and we need to contribute to giving the answer. We are not able to look in the glass bowl, of course, but there are different things how we can structure this discussion and how we can provide information to have these discussions a little bit more well, in a professional manner. Let me tell it that way. We have actually already developed what we call 5 streams that are part of the future of this of consulting discussion. Not the part, they are the impact to the discussion. One is the advanced technologies. That is, I think, self-explaining. It's about artificial intelligence, about blockchain technology, but and that will affect how we deliver our services as a profession. But it also is highly important for our clients because they need to change, and we should be able to support them. And that is a full area for making us able to deliver to this business. But we need to make our members ready to support their clients, because it's not only that we have heard about artificial intelligence, but do not understand how could that affect on the client's business. So this advanced technologies stream is one very important stream, and it is maybe most of you, when you hear the first time about future of consulting, most of you will relate it to advanced technologies. The second is what we call future of work. How do employees expect to work? How do they want to set up their life, and what needs do they have, not only with regards to employees of our members, but also to the clients' employees. And things are changing, I think, dramatically. It's not only about war for talents. That is something not very new, that started also before the pandemic situation, but the pandemic accelerated also this trend. We need to support our clients and enable our clients to have the right environment to address the right employees. And that is something that is really changing a lot, not only in the last 2 years, but also in the next years. I'm convinced to do. Then there is another stream that we call skills of tomorrow. Skills of tomorrow. We have already published the new competence framework, and I think that brings it on the ground. It states very clear what do management consultants need to have in their competences, in their skills, what is necessary in their toolbox to provide professional services. And the skills of tomorrow is not, it's the same point. It's not only for us, but it's also on the client side. And the fourth screen is what we call new business models. New business models is not only for our clients, it's also for us as consultants. We need to think about how does our business change. Sometimes I have the impression that we as a consultants very often tell our clients what they should do, but sometimes we forget about what we should do as consultant business. And business models might change. I don't think everything will change dramatically. Management consulting is still management consulting, and it might be supported by new business models, but I don't think the profession as a profession will change, that it will disappear, for example, because some people say, well, you can look for the relevant know-how in the internet and you just Google make more profit and then you get the professional advice. It's not the professional advice. It might be some ideas, but that's not management consulting. And the fifth stream is what we call professional standards. Especially in these uncertain times, people are looking for certainty, they are looking for quality, and it is for us as a profession, it is highly important to prove that we have the appropriate knowledge, that we have the appropriate resources, that we can manage these projects, and we are able to deliver the project as it is agreed. And that is what our clients expect. But also from the other side, from client side, they need to do it in their business too, because their clients are seeking for the same quality and for the same certainty they need to prove and they need to deliver. So these 5 streams. I just wanted to address them. We can discuss hours and hours and days about the details and the background, but I think it's highly important that we all understand the same background of the future of consulting as a topic. And the second meaning of future of consulting as an umbrella for our activities. That's going a little bit more further. And that is, I want to address 4 concrete activities. There are much more in planning, and for the time being, we need to discuss it in the board meeting, but that's the actual state of that. One activity I'm sure you know is the National Consulting Index. That is also under this umbrella of the future of consulting, this content-driven umbrella. The last report that was for 2020, so published in 21 last year in June. And we had a very special report, let me call it that way, because usually the NCI reports how good is the consulting industry developed per country. Different indicators, and based on these indicators, there is a scientific model developed by our academic fellows, Simon, namely, to report how good is the consulting industry developed based on these different indicators. Now, for 2020, we had one problem, that these indicators changed in a way that makes them not robust enough in a statistic meaning, because they changed and dramatically going up or going down. So for the statistic guys, they said it's not serious to report and the National Consulting Index on these figures. But the other reason is that a provider of some of these indicators, they have changed their system to calculate their indices. And now we are working with, we need to discuss how can we report the National Consulting Index for 21. So that will be done in June 22. It's always the previous year. But I think we will be able to report, to make a report. And I think we will keep it partly in the same direction as we had it in the last year. We asked our members, how did the consulting industry develop just in terms of revenues? That was a rough estimation, and it is not scientific, robust figures, but even the reporting of this estimation gave an additional benefit, and it showed that the consulting business on the global level developed in a good way, but for every single country, the variance was extremely high. Some went down for, I guess, 50%, and other went up for 20%. So this range was extremely big. So for this year, I'm sure we will come back to you very soon to ask you about some figures about the market in your country. And I want to ask you right now already, please do not forget to fill in this form. But we will have this discussion, I think, next week with the academic fellows and see what can we do for the report 21. I think it's very important for us as an industry and for us as ICMCI to have a report. The next I would like to address with regards to the future of consulting are our academic fellows. The academic fellows is our think tank, and actually many things that we are doing are based on the outcome of this think tank. They are also working on a book about consulting skills, and of course they contributed significant to the National Consulting Index, just to name two of their activities. I think we will exceed the members by 21 with more than 100. I don't know exactly. For the time being, we have some 80 members in our academic fellows, a little bit more, and I think we have more than 20 more nominations. So this is really growing, and it is a really big group, and it is a significant academic initiative, and I think we can be very proud of that. And in my feeling, almost every member has at least one academic fellow, and yeah, it's highly important for us to have a basis to know what we are doing, and then think about what's the impact on our profession. And the next activity I would like to address with this regards is our webinars. I don't know how many of you had the chance to join our last webinar on Tuesday. We had something like 80 persons attending, and it was about human-centric organizations. Very interesting in my understanding, and it gives really good input to further discussions. It's not that everything is settled and everything is clarified in these webinars, but I think they contribute a lot to our thoughts. So they are open for everybody, and I think that's something you can offer your members, more benefit and more value to join these seminars. And then we have another initiative that is called Young Leaders. That's an initiative to connect young professionals. That is something, that's a target group we actually did not address as ICMCI, because our members and the people we are, our community actually is a little bit more experienced guys of let me tell it in that way, because if you're engaged in an organization like ICMCI, you have usually a little bit more experience. But I think we can learn a lot from young professionals, and I think it is something that could providing a lot of benefit for the IMCs, for our members, for the institutes, because especially for those who provide a curriculum to educate or to train management consultants, it could be a lecture, international connection. And I think especially young consultants are looking for being international connected, and they really would value this international connection and could benefit from that. But again, we are at the very beginning of that, and we will discuss that in our board meeting, because there are so many things that we need to keep in mind. But that's the current state and the current discussion about future of content. The second topic in the board meeting will be the marketing, as I was already mentioned. Since I am active in ICMCI, marketing was always a topic in every single discussion. Everybody said we need to do more marketing. We need to do more marketing. Okay, but to bring that on the ground, it's a little bit more complicated, because we have some we have some restrictions, and we need to develop as an organization to be able to do marketing. It's not only telling the world how good we are. I don't think many people would be interested in that, but it would be about telling the world how could they benefit from us, and that's a different message. And we need the last couple of years we developed that, I think, very good. We are very active on LinkedIn and Facebook and these social media environments. And now I think it could be time to achieve a next level with regards to communication. And that means that we need to be more precise and more structured in the way of having some sort of a campaign planning. What do I understand by campaign planning? A campaign is something that has a target group, it has a topic, it has an expected outcome, expected results, and it has named resources. And it is something that has a starting and an ending point. It is a project that needs to be defined. I don't need to tell you, but that is something that sounds very easy. In practical life, especially for an international organization with different languages, different members, different institutes as members, it needs much more planning background. And I think it really would help us if we could offer synergies with our members, because if we do campaign and we invest in resources, why don't we make it in a manner that the institutes could benefit from that? Let me bring you an example. It's just an easy example. It's not an actual project, but if somebody Googles management consulting, they should land as number one on ICMCI. But ICMCI does not have members that expect this the Global Institute. But actually, if somebody in Singapore clicks on ICMCI, they should be forwarded to a landing page of the IMC Singapore to become member in the IMC Singapore. And if somebody in the United States click on this link, they should actually be forwarded to the landing page of the US. And that is something that it's not very easy, but it is possible with these new technologies, but it needs to be planned. And therefore we need the members. It's highly important that we have a way to structure our campaign planning in a manner that our members can benefit from that. not to campaign on a topic that maybe in the worst case would contradict another campaign that is set up by the IMC Canada for whatever. So that is something we need to elaborate on, we need to organize, and that is what we are discussing in our board meeting. So that's it. As I said, I don't have it ready planned. It's just a discussion in the board, and that's the meaning of this meeting now, that we tell you as a board what are we doing and what are the plans. And we will come back in our annual meeting to present a concrete strategy about that. So that's what I would say the strategy part. Let me move on to our daily business. It's, as I said, it's not a full picture of all our activities in with regards to the operation of the daily business. There are so many things happening. By Rima and Husaima, it wouldn't be possible to list all of them. And a wonderful situation that I am in is that our daily business is managed perfect. We don't need to discuss accounting or whatever. There is something that was a big issue the last couple of months, at least. It's even longer. That's the banking situation, and that many of our resources were put into this issue because our bank, the ABN AMRO Bank, they canceled the services. They announced to cancel. They didn't do it by now, but they announced it because they said they are based in the Netherlands, and ICMCI is an international organization based in Switzerland, and they don't see why they should keep us as a client, especially with regards to money laundering and these things. So they said, please look for another bank. So we thought it's easy. let's go for another bank in Switzerland. And they refused to accept ICMCI as a client because they said, well, international organizations, and it's not a very rich international organization. So we don't want you. And then we finally found out that we need to register in the commercial register because that's very important in Switzerland. And we did that, and we assigned a banking compliance officer, Ruggiero Hüsler, and he's Swiss. That helps in Switzerland very much. They want to see the person, and they want to talk with the person, and so we did all that, and it looks very good now that we will have a new bank in the next couple of days, weeks, hopefully. So I think we can, for today, we can assume that we can switch from ABN AMRO to Post Finance in Switzerland seamless. There's only one thing that changed, that's the account number. So if you do money transfer, please use the new account number, but Rima will inform you on that in detail as soon as it is possible. I'm sure you all heard about the new competence framework. What PSC and QSC are doing now, they are setting up a plan to inform the institutes and how to update their training material, how to update their trainings, so that the institutes can properly implement this competence framework. The competence framework is, I think, one of the most important basis for all our activities with regards to CMC designation, all our trainings that are provided. It is highly important for us as ICMCI that the new competence framework is implemented properly. there are two things that are changing for those of you who are not 100% sure if they already know. One is with regards to digitalization. As I mentioned, future of consulting, digitalization is something that is really important also as a competence of management consultants. Not that they need to know everything in detail and they need to be an expert in blockchain or artificial intelligence or whatever, but they need to understand what is it. And they need to understand what does GDPR mean if you implement a new business model. They're not that they need to be an expert in GDPR, but they need to tell the client, well, if we're doing that, we need to have an expert in this project team, and then everything's fine. But this, I call it the digital fitness. That is something that is a little bit, no, it's not a little bit, it is more emphasized in the competence framework. And the second is how to deal with ethical discussion, sustainability, and how does sustainability and the SDGs from the United Nations, how do they affect our business, and how do they affect the business of our clients? These are the two main things that have been adopted in the competence framework, and therefore I think it's really important that the institutes implement it and tell it to the world, because it's not to the whole world, but even to their stakeholders in their country, because it's something we can really proud of, and it shows that we as an industry, we are developing and we are on the state that is necessary to deliver our projects. Well, I'm jumping around a little bit, I understand, but as I said, it's a sort of agenda, not to forget something. So let me switch to another topic. I just want to mention, we still have some vacancies in different committees. Most of them are okay, but yeah, I think especially membership and finance, and also assessors for the Global Institute. If we would have more members in these committees, it would help. So please think about, we sent out the application form for that in the last couple of weeks. Not all of our members replied. So please think about if you can reply. Well, jumping to the next topic is Constantinus. We sent out the Constantinus kickoff a couple of days before. That was, I think, last week. The Consultancies International will be awarded in October in our annual meeting. So applications, we are open for applications. Please communicate to your members, communicate to your clients. It is everybody who sees what's happening in this award ceremony and sees how it benefits to the institutes, but more important to the members of our members, to the consultants. They say, that's wonderful. It's extremely supportive in winning new clients. It is really helpful to show the world how management consulting is working. What is the profession about? How can it benefit to the client? How does management consulting deliver their services? What does it mean to have management consultants in your business? And I know it's a little bit of a very, very, very low barrier, but it is a little bit of barrier. You need to apply, and that takes time. And I also want to mention, for you as institutes, it really helps if you get applications from your members, even if you decide not to, if they don't win, because it is, every single application is a sort of a success story, and every success story that is communicated to the market helps to make the market ready for buying management consulting services. Many members assigned ambassadors. I think we something have like 20 ambassadors in different countries. We would be happy to have 50. So every single member should have at least one ambassador. But I know for even, especially for the smaller members, it is not so easy because it costs a little bit money. But well, I think there is some room to improve. If every single ambassador counts and every single ambassador helps to have more application to the Constantines International. I also want to mention, as I did already, but make it a little bit more concrete, the event plannings. The next big event is the International Consultants Day. That is always on the first Thursday of June, and this year it will be June 2nd. We will hold it as a virtual event, not only because we don't know how traveling will be working, but the International Consultants Day is it's not so big, and we do not expect to do so much travel to meet for a couple of hours. Therefore, we usually make it virtual. We had it, I think, once face-to-face, and that was very successful, but it's a question of cost. We have a working draft for the title. It's Accelerating Restart. It's not final, but that is what we want to address. How can management consulting contribute with their services to the society and the economy for recovery? That is what will be part of the Management Consultants Day. And I think the world is ready to get our answers. We do have different ideas about the topics, but I don't want to go too much in detail. But one will be the presentation of the National Consulting Index, as I mentioned earlier. So please be ready to write down in your calendars June 2nd, International Consultants Day, and invite as many members of you as possible to join this event. It will be virtual. The next meeting I want to address is the annual meeting. It's always, more or less always in October. This year it will be. We will have the same format as last year. It will be a hybrid event, and it's on October the 12th and 13th. We are discussing about how can we improve, especially the annual meeting part, not the conference part, the annual meeting part, because we learned from the last annual meeting that there are some things we need to consider when we set up our decision process and the presentations, because we had the presentation of the board and the report of the board. We had it twice, one in the morning session and one in the afternoon session. And how do you deal with different discussions that are the outcome of the reports, and because there might be different discussion in the morning and in the evening session, and that is something that we should find a way to deal with that. And but in general, we think that the hybrid format is very helpful for many of our members, because we had very good attendance, and it was very. It is, of course, a question of cost to attend a meeting somewhere in the world. For some parts of the world, it is because of traveling, time zone, and so on. It is always a little bit more complicated. I also want to address the hubs meeting. Well, I think, Lydia, did you agree on a hub meeting for the Asia Pacific today, or was it yesterday? But it will take place in Australia, and that is the first hub meeting with a concrete date. We do have.
Well, yeah. What happens is this. I wrote to them to ask them to host. Only today, I would say 4 hours ago, they responded to say that they are willing to host. So they requested for a meeting with me. I'm seeing the new president, Peter Westland, Michael, who is the delegate of IMC, and Christine Cox to discuss about the planning details. So end of next week, I think they want to know more, which I'm happy to share. So there's no firm dates yet, although they say tentatively it could be sometime in May, but things could change, you know. So I'll update. Anyway, I'll put both yourself and Rima in the loop so that you know what's happening.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, we do have a time frame for the hub meetings that is from April to May, I guess. So because it's in the yearly planning, it makes more sense to have it in the first half of the year than in the second half. In the second half, we have the annual meeting and the conference, and in the first half there should be the board meetings. The hub meetings, sorry, the hubs are quite different. Like you're already having a location, not a location, but you have an institute that will organize it, and you're working on a concrete date. Some hubs say, or at least one hub say, we don't have one hub meeting. We do have an ongoing communication with our members in a structured way. They are doing it in a little bit different way. For another, especially for the Africa, we are thinking about that. We as ICMCI go to organize it because the situation in Africa is quite complex to the different members and to the business in all. And in Europe, we are going to have a new hub chair, and who is not assigned yet, but will be hopefully very soon, and then these things will start to be organized. So that's the event planning. Annual meeting, in International Consultants Day and hub meetings. These are the three main events. And I want to address the ISO, both ISO. We have a virtual self-declaration checklist training. Maybe you know, maybe you realized we have a new PSC chair, and that is Shelal, and that's his first training. So if you want to attend, and if you want to send members, or if you want to send somebody who wants to become a trainer on the ISO self-declaration checklist training, this training will be held on March 17. And I'm happy to say that we have an ISO 17024 authorization that is is for Mongolia. Mongolia achieved the ISO 17024 authorization for their trainings to deliver, so they can they are organizing and they are delivering their trainings according to 17024. And I do know that
Robert, not Mongolia.
I'm sorry?
It's Kazakhstan.
Ah, Kazakhstan. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Okay, so this is it. As I mentioned, this is that's more of an agenda. It's not a complete full picture of all our discussions and all our activities, but that is what I wanted to share with you. And yeah, I will be happy to discuss and learn more about your activities and experience.
Are you looking for commentary as to what you said, or
Yeah, fine.
Questions and
Questions,
such. If anyone has any
comments,
questions,
yes.
over Chair.
No, I thank you for a very comprehensive presentation. You provided a lot of items for thought. You said two things, you said many things that struck me. One of them is that consulting will not disappear. And I believe you're absolutely right. And we will probably have an influx of new consultants, people who have never been in this profession before, some because they wanted to do it, others because of the economy and the fact that many people have lost their jobs worldwide. So I see that happening. And the second thing that struck me was this issue, I think, how did you put it? You know, we don't have to tell the marketplace how good we are. It's a question of how they can benefit from us. I think those are two key areas, particularly the second one, that we are always grappling with. And I thank you for bringing that up, because we sort of get involved in so many different activities that we forget what the central point is. And that is, you mentioned marketing, and that is to tell them what we can do for them. What is it in for me as a client? So thank you for bringing that up. That really resonated with me.
Thank you. Yeah, good to hear. Yes. Any other comments?
Thank you very much, Chair Robert, for providing such excellent and holistic approach of this ICMCI strategy in going forward. It's really a lot to cover. I was thinking, now we have 50 member institute. It would be nice if we can increase our member institute and have a presence of ICMCI where, you know, they are not there. I give you an example. For instance, IMC Indonesia. There's no IMC Indonesia, and there's no IMC Malaysia. I am putting out my feelers to see whether, through our members, to see whether there could be some interest, because the more member institutes we have, the better. I think we at least are represented in more countries around the world. What do you think of that?
Absolutely, and as Juan mentioned, we will have more consultants. I'm convinced management consulting is not only not dying, it is going to grow. And especially for these new consultants, they're looking for a home base, and they need to have some understanding what are they doing and what is management consulting, and how do we see management consulting as a professional service, and what is the CMC, and how can they be enabled to approach the market and make their business, especially because there are so many new consultants on the whole world. It's not something that is only in a part somewhere. And so the more home base we provide and the more community we provide, the better for us and for these people. And thanks, we have the GI to be the first level, but that is not replacing an institute in a country. It's just the first step for an institute. And as soon as we have more members in a country, we ask them, why don't you open an institute? But that is, well, we need a critical mass of consultants in a specific country, and for the time being, we don't have it. Yes, we are working very strategic with the membership committee. What are target groups for us as ICMCI? Where are the targets in Europe? Which countries should be members? We know in Europe the situation is a little bit different. because we have so many different independent institutes in Europe. There is no European institute as it is in other parts of the world, but and it still hurts me every day when I see that we have at least 1 or 2 or 3 countries that should be members, but for the time being, they decided not to be member. I think that's a little bit a discussion of, let me call it hammer and the dance. As soon as we do active marketing activities in a special region in the world, I think they might think about it, because then we address their members in a country where there is an institute, but this institute is not member of ICMCI. We address them, and they might ask, why are we not member of ICMCI? That might help us a little bit in the discussion. How can we have more members? And there are some white flags on this map, white spaces on the map. I would like to make yellow. And it's important. I agree, absolutely.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay. Well, we are a very small group now, but as Juan said, he will join again in the afternoon.
Yes, I will. If that's
okay. Okay.
If you can send me, Zuma, the information to dial in.
Yeah.
We already shared with you the details. You must have it to your email.
I must. I'll look for it. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Rima, there's anything you want to comment, or is there something that I did not say properly?
You covered everything. I mean, I'm looking at the map that you had for us up there, and yes, everything is covered. The only thing I want to add is about the event and the Constantinos. The Constantinos is on the 12th of October, while the annual meeting is on the 13th. So those are the specific dates for those 2 events. The conference could have sessions in both days, or it could be on the 13th between the 2, the morning and the afternoon annual meeting sessions. That is something yet to be decided. And what we're trying to do is actually have the theme for the conference established during the board strategy meeting, so that we start from next month, from March, actually planning what the sessions would be like and who the speakers could be. The most important part of it is that the event itself will be focused, the conference, I mean, would be focused on the future of consulting and all the findings that we get from there. So again, this even links all this map together further. Thank you, Robert.
Okay, well then, let me say thank you to you, and hope to see you soon, maybe even in person.
Yes, thank you, Robert. It was a great update. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going back to sleep.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert. Very clear structure.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Take care.
Bye.